Everyone thinks Omni-Man versus Doctor Strange would be some epic magical battle, but it's not even close. And I'll be breaking down every brutal reason why. This is what happens when unstoppable physical force meets a guy who learned magic from reading books. Omni-Man is Nolan Grayson, a Viltrumite warrior who can destroy planets with his bare hands and thinks humans are basically talking pets. Doctor Strange is Stephen Strange, a former surgeon who crashed his car, ruined his hands, and decided to become a wizard instead. One's a ruthless alien conqueror who spent centuries perfecting the art of violence. The other's a reformed asshole, who borrows power from cosmic entities and hopes they don't ask for it back. The fundamental difference? Omni-Man's power comes from being born a member of the most violent species in the galaxy. Strange's power comes from making deals with beings who could squash him like a bug if they felt like it. But this is just the start of why this fight is completely one-sided. Omni-Man's strength is absolutely stupid when you look at his actual feats. This guy helped destroy planet Viltrum by flying through its core. An entire planet, just gone. He casually punches through mountains, drags his own sun through skyscrapers, at max speed, and treats buildings like they're made of wet cardboard. When he fought the Guardians of the Globe, he killed Earth's premier superhero team by himself in one night. We're talking about multiple heroes with different powers, different fighting styles, different advantages, and he just steamrolled through all of them like they were annoying insects. His flight speed is consistently faster than light. He crossed solar systems to slaughter the Flaxen army so fast he looked like a blur, followed by explosions and death. The durability is where it gets really scary. He survived flying through a planetary core, tanked weapons that could level cities, and has never taken meaningful damage from anything except other Viltrumites. Most importantly, these aren't special circumstances or plot armor moments. This is just Tuesday for a Viltrumite. The Viltrumite Empire conquered most of their galaxy through one simple strategy: overwhelming biological superiority, backed by complete ruthlessness. They didn't need advanced technology or clever tactics, because they bred themselves into living weapons over millions of years. Civil war eliminated every weakness until only the strongest, fastest, most violent members survived. Omni-Man personally executed fellow Viltrumites who showed mercy, destroyed civilizations that opposed their rule, and spent decades on Earth perfecting his cover story while preparing for conquest. His training focused entirely on warfare and domination. Concepts like mercy, negotiation, or moral restraint were literally bred out of his species. The psychological conditioning is the key factor here. Omni-Man doesn't get distracted by moral dilemmas, doesn't hesitate due to emotional attachments, and doesn't have exploitable psychological weaknesses. When problems arise, his solution is always the same: apply overwhelming violence until the problem stops existing. This isn't character development or tactical flexibility. It's programmed biological efficiency. What makes Omni-Man truly dangerous against magical opponents is his complete immunity to the psychological and moral manipulation that most magic users rely on. Fear spells? He's conquered civilizations and committed genocide without losing sleep. Mind control? Viltrumite mental conditioning resists external influence as a survival mechanism. Illusions? His enhanced senses can detect reality distortions, while his tactical training focuses on direct solutions rather than complex analysis. The guy doesn't have convenient weaknesses like kryptonite, doesn't care about collateral damage, and won't hesitate to kill if it serves his objectives. His approach to magical threats is the same as his approach to any threat. Close distance, apply maximum force, repeat until problem is solved. Most magical defenses are designed for opponents who follow some kind of logical framework or have exploitable limitations. Omni-Man's framework is just hit it harder until it breaks. So how exactly does a guy who learned magic from books deal with someone whose entire existence is violence made flesh? Doctor Strange's magical arsenal includes time manipulation, dimensional travel, reality alteration, and energy projection, borrowed from cosmic entities like the Vishanti and Dormammu. His spellcasting can slow or stop time, create portals to anywhere in the multiverse, transmute matter at the molecular level, and generate energy constructs for offense and defense. The Cloak of Levitation provides flight and independent defensive capabilities, while mystical artifacts like the Eye of Agamotto grant temporal vision and magical analysis. His shields can theoretically deflect planet-level attacks, while binding spells are designed to restrain cosmic entities. Astral projection allows combat on spiritual planes where physical bodies become irrelevant. The mirror dimension removes conflicts from normal reality into spaces where Strange controls environmental conditions. His magical knowledge spans centuries of study covering every type of supernatural threat, cosmic entity, and reality-bending phenomenon. The versatility is impressive on paper. Magic can theoretically solve any problem through the right combination of spells, artifacts, and cosmic bargains. Strange's origin story involves losing everything he valued and rebuilding himself as something entirely different. After his car accident destroyed his surgical career, he sought magical healing and instead found cosmic responsibility. The Ancient One's training taught him that true power requires sacrifice and service rather than personal gain. His character arc involves learning humility after starting as an arrogant surgeon who thought money and skill made him superior to others. The mystical studies provided knowledge of cosmic forces, dimensional threats, and universal principles that govern reality itself. His relationship with various cosmic entities creates a power network, but also dependencies that can become liabilities. Combat experience includes victories against Dormammu, Shuma-Gorath, and other beings that exist as pure magical force. Each battle taught him new applications for mystical energy, while reinforcing his role as reality's protector. The psychological foundation relies on intellectual understanding and moral commitment rather than biological conditioning for warfare. Strange's approach to purely physical threats involves distance, environmental control, and exploiting the assumption that magic can affect anything through sufficient knowledge and preparation. He opens fights by shifting to the mirror dimension, where he controls physics and can analyze opponents without civilian interference. Time manipulation should provide crucial advantages through slowed enemy reactions or accelerated spellcasting speed. His strategy involves identifying opponent power sources through mystical analysis before developing specific counterspells designed for that threat type. Portal creation allows tactical repositioning, while reality alteration creates environmental hazards and obstacles. The binding spells that work on cosmic entities should theoretically restrain any opponent regardless of their strength level. His experience against beings like Galactus and cosmic abstracts provides frameworks for dealing with power levels that exceed his own. The psychological component involves demonstrating magical superiority to encourage retreat rather than continued conflict. Environmental protection becomes crucial as he attempts to minimize collateral damage while engaging cosmic-level threats. But what happens when your entire magical framework meets an opponent who doesn't follow the rules that magic depends on? Doctor Strange immediately recognizes Omni-Man as a cosmic-level threat and shifts the battle to the mirror dimension, where he controls environmental conditions and physics operate according to his will. This should give him crucial advantages: time to analyze, space to maneuver, and rules that favor magical solutions over brute force. Omni-Man examines the twisted mirror landscape for about 3 seconds before punching through dimensional barriers like they're made of tissue paper. The mirror dimension isn't designed to contain someone who can destroy planets through direct force, and Strange watches his primary tactical advantage crumble as Omni-Man forces the fight back into normal reality. Strange escalates to time manipulation, casting spells that should slow Omni-Man's movement to manageable speeds while accelerating his own reactions. The Viltrumite continues moving at normal speed, despite temporal distortion effects, suggesting his biology operates independently of local time manipulation. This is where Strange realizes he's not fighting a magical threat or cosmic entity. He's fighting pure, evolved biology that doesn't care about mystical laws. Strange's desperation tactics reveal the fundamental limitations of magic against opponents, who exist outside mystical frameworks entirely. His binding spells that normally restrain cosmic entities like Galactus prove unable to affect Omni-Man's movement, because the magic targets mystical or energy-based power sources that simply don't exist in Viltrumite biology. Banishment magic designed to send threats to hostile dimensions fails as Omni-Man's presence appears anchored to reality through physical force rather than mystical connection. The sorcerer's most powerful offensive spells targeting consciousness and spiritual essence produce no effect because Viltrumite mental conditioning resists external influence as a biological defense mechanism. Reality alteration attempts to change local physics in ways that should limit superhuman abilities. But Omni-Man's biology adapts to environmental changes instinctively. His astral projection reveals that Omni-Man's spirit is as physically indestructible as his body, eliminating the spiritual combat options that work against magical opponents. Every spell Strange casts either fails completely or produces minimal effects that Omni-Man ignores while continuing his direct approach. The fight ends exactly how you'd expect when magical theory meets biological reality. Omni-Man's victory comes through something Dr. Strange never anticipated: power that operates completely outside the mystical systems that magic relies on for effectiveness. Strange's spells work by manipulating existing cosmic forces, borrowing power from dimensional entities, or exploiting universal constants that govern reality. Omni-Man's abilities come from evolution that transcended normal physical limitations through millions of years of selective breeding and warfare. When Strange's reality manipulation fails to affect someone whose existence operates independently of mystical frameworks, his options disappear entirely. The final moment comes when Omni-Man simply flies through Strange's most powerful protective barrier like it's empty air, grabs the sorcerer, and demonstrates why magical knowledge becomes irrelevant against overwhelming biological superiority applied without moral restraint. This isn't about power levels or tactical genius. It's about incompatible systems where one requires rules to function and the other exists specifically to break rules through direct force. Strange's defeat illustrates the hard truth about magic. It needs something to manipulate, and Omni-Man's power doesn't give it anything to work with. Could Strange have won with unlimited prep time and every mystical artifact in existence? Or was this always going to favor the guy who solves problems by hitting them until they stop being problems?